Hello, my name's Andrew, and today we're doing a first impressions review of the ahinsa Barefoot slip-on sandals. So basically this is one of my most requested reviews because for years people have been asking me for a barefoot Birkenstock style sandal, and honestly I'm really excited about it too because I used to wear Birkenstocks all the time in high school, but the only problem with them is that most Birkenstocks have this like really pronounced arch. They're very hard feeling, they have almost no flexibility to them, so I was really excited to find a sandal that actually has some flex and it's flat, that's zero drop, so you don't have anything weird under your arch. Your feet can just kind of do what they're supposed to do naturally. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about some of the testing that I've done with them so far, but first let's just take a look at some of the basic features. So up front, you've got this really nice extra wide toe box. It gives your toes a ton of room to splay out. Most Birkenstocks are like kind of a medium to a wide width. And yeah, they can be a little bit limiting, especially with the the raised upper on the sides. So I really love that these are flat. There's no restriction to your toes anywhere on the sandal. And they've got kind of a curved shape to them, so they still look really classy, as opposed to other barefoot sandals, which might be kind of like squared off, which is cool too. But if you want something for casual and you want it to fit in a little bit more and you don't want to fly your barefoot flag, I think the rounded style is cool and it still gives your toes a ton of room. But in terms of the material, you would think that this is leather, right? But it's actually not. It's a vegan material called CF+, which is a recycled synthetic blend. And I swear I've fooled so many people with this because my first ever ahinsas were the Jaya boots, which I really love. They're a winter boot, and they have the same CF+ material, and it looks just like leather. I remember when I first got them and I showed them to my dad. I was like, "How do you like these leather boots, Dad?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, look great." And I'm like, "Yeah, they're not leather, they're synthetic." And he's like, "What?" And he's like looking at them really close, and he wouldn't believe me for about a couple minutes. But yeah, I love the texture, you know? It has the same feel as leather. The coloring, it's not just like one color. Like sometimes synthetic leathers can look too uniform and it just gives it away. But yeah, there's just a really nice coloring all around. In terms of how they fit, I think they do run about a size long. My toes came to around here. These are the 44s, which is what I usually get. But sometimes I size down in sandals, so I would say probably consider going a size down, but also take a look at ahinsa's sizing templates. Then in terms of width, even though they're really roomy, I have medium width feet and they still work fine for me, especially because there's a lot of holes here. I'm not even at the last one, so if you had even more slim feet than I do, then they would still work for you, but they've got a ton of extra holes for even extra wide feet, which is great. And then if you somehow had like super extra wide, you could probably drill an extra hole here. Or use a hole punch, you know, or make them a little bit snug as well. But it's nice to have the two different adjustment straps if your feet are slightly, you know, different shapes in the front and the back or different widths, so you can get that adjusted. But the material feels really soft, and again, like on the inside, it also looks like regular leather as well because it's got that softer inside texture to it, kind of suede-like, which feels really great barefoot. And then the other nice thing about CF+ is that it's very scratch resistant. So you can see I'm scratching it there and you just don't get any wear at all on the sandal, which is great. And because it's a little bit more smooth than regular leather, it's also very easy to clean with a cloth. If you have a little bit more texture, then sometimes stains and stuff like that can get into the crevices and be very difficult to get out. So that's something I like as well. And then just looking at the edging, this is another thing where it looks almost like regular leather because you can see it's got this really nice texture. It's very fine. Taking a look at the sole, it's only 1.8 millimeters for the rubber, and then it's got a little bit of padding up top. So you can see that there's just a tiny bit of squish, which I like because some of the straight unpadded sandals that I've tried that are 5 millimeters, they just have a little bit of leather on top and no padding. They can feel kind of hard on roads. You can sort of hear it. You know, they feel really nice on trails, but then if you're walking all day on roads, it can kind of make your feet a little bit achy. So when I was walking around on these, they definitely have some flex to them. Not quite as much horizontally. I think maybe they could shave off a millimeter and still feel really nice in terms of the padding. But yeah, I think they definitely feel better on roads than other barefoot sandals that I've tried. And looking at the tread, even though it's thin, it's got a little bit of hardness to it, which you can hear. And it's got some nice texture as well, so it grips on pavement and concrete. And yeah, I think overall for hard surfaces, just having that extra padding would be nice for standing around, like if you were going to a wedding or you were working at a job where you were doing some kind of like semi-formal type of attire and you were standing a lot. I think it would be nice as well because you don't have that really annoying arch support. which can make your arches ache after a while. It's just a completely flat sandal, but then you do have that padding as well, and it's not super thick, so it still feels nice and flexible for walking. You're probably not gonna do super long mileage in a sandal like this, but I found them to be really snug, and probably I'm gonna get the size down because these, like I said, were a little bit long on me, but there's a lot of support on the sides. So they don't feel like they're slipping around a lot like some more minimal sandals can. All right, so that's ahinsa, but another good option would be the Monk Rivo. I really like these for casual as well because they've got this cross strap, which I think feels more comfortable than a Huarache if you're gonna be wearing them like all day long and you're just gonna be walking around and not trail running or anything like that. They have a nice extra wide toe box. It's pretty similar. I think ahinsa might be just a little bit wider, but yeah, they're pretty close. These ones have a leather footbed, but you can also get a vegan option. And then in terms of the straps, they feel nice and soft. And then the thing that I really love about these sandals is the buckle. I don't know why, but it's just so addictive to be able to buckle a sandal. It's really convenient as well for taking it on and off. I mean, obviously you can always slip out of the back, but for some reason I just like using the buckle. I think it's a cool feature. It also looks cool. In terms of the sole, it's 5mm, definitely more flexibility than the ahinsas, but like I said, it doesn't have any padding, so if you're on roads for a long time, your feet can start to ache a bit because the Vibram sole is very tough, but it's also hard. You can hear that, so without any padding, yeah, I think they work better for trails or roads if you're just not doing too much mileage. In terms of the tread, it's really versatile for all terrain because there's a lot of grip for wet surfaces, but then the lugs are close enough together that you get protection on rocks and roots and stuff like that too. Another good option would be the Totem Alpha Black Bear, and these are probably my favorite all-around sandals. Even though they're a Huarache, the straps are just so soft that you don't even notice that the toe thong is there. Another leather sandal, they've also got a hemp option, which is great if you want vegan materials. Extra wide toe box. I do like the squared off toe. I think it looks kind of like a Roman soldier sandal, which is great for trail running, lets your toes splay out. Then they've got Velcro straps here, which are really easy to adjust, but I find that once I put these sandals on for the first time, I never needed to adjust them again. And basically if I want to take them off, it's the same thing where I can kind of just slip out of the back. I sort of scrunch my feet forward and then yeah, just pull down the heel tab. And then this has the same 5mm sole as the Rivo, so some nice flexibility. I would say they feel just slightly softer than the Rivos, which is why they're my favorite all-around sandal for hiking and trail running and casual and pretty much everything. But yeah, one last option would be the Deliberate Life Designs Perception, and DLD does custom sandals, so you can send in a tracing of your foot and get exactly what you want. And then they also have different straps and footbeds that you can choose from, which is nice, and also different thicknesses for the footbed and for the sole and for the straps. And they have different colors as well, so it's fully customizable. I think the wider straps look really nice for casual. It's not quite as dressy as ahinsa, you know, but it's a good in-between option. This is the 7mm sole, also Vibram, and then it's just got a little bit thicker footbed. And like I said, there's options for that. The wide straps, they're very silky and I really don't notice them at all, especially because the toe thong is thinner, so it doesn't rub on your feet. And yeah, I think they're a great trail running and hiking option for when you're on more rugged trails and you need something that's just a little bit thicker than 5mm, but you don't want something that feels clunky. And yeah, same grip on here as the other two. It's that Vibram sole, which is really versatile for all terrain. And then again, also easy to slip out of the back, even though it doesn't have Velcro or a buckle. So that's my first impression review of the ahinsa slip-on sandal and friends. But if you'd like to support the channel, you can shop with the referral links down below, browse and filter more products at my website, barefootwear.org, or watch my zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the ahinsa slip-on sandals or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.